Hi, my name is Harshadhan Chaturvedi and I am a legal intern at Lexis and Company. So today we are going to talk about the Indian legal system. To dwell among the laws of India is like bathing in the holy water of Triveni. It leaves one refreshed from the pleasant contact with almost all the legal systems of the contemporary world and delighted at the hopeful realization that here in the Indian legal system lie the seeds of unified electrical legal order which may soon grow in maturity and spread its branches like banyan tree all over South and Southeast Asia. The three main streams join together from the Indian legal system. That of the common law is perhaps the most dominant among them. Then there is the stream of laws springing from the religion. The third is that of the civil law, which energizes the system with unruffled ethic verve and accords to comeliness to its contours. Trickles of customary laws cherished by the tribal societies and other ethnic communities also flow into the mainstream, like the Saraswati near Prayag. The element of civil law is not easily perceptible through its permeates the entire structure, so word of explanation is perhaps warranted. The very idea to a code appeared to have been derived from the codes of the continental Europe, when in 1788 a codification of Hindu law on contracts and succession was proposed by Sir William Jones to Lord Cornwallis. It was conceived to be on the model of inevitable predicates. On 18 May 1783, a regulation for forming into a regular codes all regulations that may be enacted for the internal government of the British territories in Bengal was passed by the Governor General and Council. Some 8 years earlier, in 1775, Warren Hastings had a code of gastro laws on coordinators of the Pundits prepared and translated by the Halhead, a judge of the Supreme Court at Calcutta. The same year, Betham offered the Act as a sort of Indian Solon and thought of constructing an Indian constitutional code. James Mills, one of the disciples at India House, thought that his draught of a new plan for the France was applicable to India. Speaking on the Charter Bill on 1833, a Macaulay said, I believe that no country ever stood so much in need of code of laws as India, and I believe also that never was a country in which I want might so easily be supplied. Section 53 of the Charter Act 1853 declared that it was expedient that such laws as may be applicable in common laws to all classes of the inhabitants, due regard being had to the rights, feelings, and peculiar usages of the people, should be enacted, and that all laws and customs have the force of law should be ascertained and consolidated as occasion may require amended. The first law commission immediately after its appointment 83 with the Maclaw as its president took up the task of codification under Maclaw's personal direction. It prepared its first draft of the IPC and submitted to the Governor General in Council on 14. When there were complaints that the progress of the Commission work was unsatisfactory, Macaulay compared its progress with that of the authors of the French codes. He pointed out that though the French criminal code was begun in March 1801, Code of Criminal Procedure was not completed till 1810. It is also interesting to find half of the last century were on the same branches of law as were the same French codes enacted earlier. Neither in India nor in France was enacted a code on the law of civil wrongs. It is true that there was no comprehensive enactment on torts in England, but then there was no comprehensive enactments in England on any of the subjects covered by the Indian codes. It is only in the cherishing the idea of the codification that the British Indian authorities, executive as well as legislative bodies, appear to have adapted to continental codes. Thank you.